Each year, the Acts of Faith Festival here in Richmond brings the area's theater companies together in presenting plays that are thought-provoking, inspirational, and educational with the hope of promoting understanding and creating open dialogue. Richmond Triangle Players is joining forces with the Heritage Ensemble Theater Company to present Choir Boy. RTP's Philip Crosby and the show's musical director, Anthony Ford, are here with us today. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good to see you. It was so wonderful hearing the choir warming up. So with a title like Choir Boy, there obviously must be a lot of music in the show.
Absolutely. It's going to be tons of music in the show. Different traditional music that's going to be kind of mixed up with a little modern day taste. So we're pretty excited about it.
In putting together the music for a program like this, what's your thought process as the musical director?
Well, I just try to see the flow and get the flow of the actual play and kind of what the director wants me to do. So I take that and I go home and I kind of get it together and take these songs and listen to different arrangements and kind of put my own arrangement to it. So. And
then once it's cast, you have to work with these individual talents and put them together as a chorale. How did that work out for you?
God.
There they are.
Yeah, right. It was pretty tasking at sometimes, but you know, when you have a group of guys like we have here that's willing to do the work, it all makes it so much easier. So,
is it harder to act and sing when you know you've got to bring those two talents together in a performance?
For me, it would be. What you have, these guys are pretty professional, so they have learning the lines and then learning the lines to the music and then keeping your notes and things of that nature. It can be pretty hard sometimes.
And they're here today with us. They're going to do a scene in a performance. We're looking forward to that. Philip, let's go back to the beginning. Choir Boy, what's the basic premise of the story?
Choir Boy takes place at a renowned African-American prep school, a high school for young men, with a nationally ranked a cappella gospel choir. You know, whereas some schools may have a basketball team that gets them all the glory, it's the choir in this school that gets them all the glory. And to be the leader of the choir is the highest honor that the school has to offer. And so this particular year, the year that this play takes place in, a young man is elected leader of the choir, who has to learn how he's going to sing in his own true key. He comes out as gay, and how that affects his life with the other students at the school, how that affects his faith, how he interacts with all of those things, and trying to find his place in the world.
So it's kind of like a coming-of-age story, but
much.
Also sounds like it might deal with issues like bullying,
very much
contemporary issues, and it's set in a high school, so that brings up a whole nother set of issues.
Well, and you do have the issues of faith, too, which are very strong, not only in the music and the fact that there is this gospel choir, but how do you reconcile the life you live with the religion that you've been taught, right? And so that's a consistent piece that at RTP we try to bring to everything in the Acts of Faith Festival. And hopefully, you know, you learn that God loves us all.
It was very thought-provoking, and that's one of the things the Acts of Faith Festival does, and you're going to be offering talkbacks after a couple of the performances.
We do. After the Sunday matinees, which are on March 4th and March 11th, we'll have talkbacks with, I know we've got one, the pastor of Second Presbyterian Church, and the cast, and hopefully Anthony will be there. He's a director of music at a church as well as being a musical director of the show.
Well, that's wonderful. Let's talk about the music in the show. You said some contemporary pieces, some classic pieces. How does this all weave together in the performance? Talk about some of the music.
Okay, for instance, it's a lot of what I would call probably Negro spirituals that's caught in there. And so when you have a group of teenage boys, you want to make it appealing to them. I know that sometimes, even when I was younger, it was some pieces that I was like, I didn't understand, didn't want to sing. And so I had a director that took these songs and kind of made them appealing to me. So it's like, okay. Then when I got into it, it's like, okay, now I can understand it because I'm feeling it. So that type of feel there. So we've got some upbeat numbers, one number in particular, Rockin' Jerusalem, which is probably one of our favorites. There's a lot going on with that, and you just got to see it for yourself. You know, these guys, like I said, work really hard to be moving, choreo, singing, 3-part harmony, 4-part harmony, some things going like that. Then there's some real touching songs that you might hear that your mother or grandmother have. For instance, I Need a Little More Time to Pray. Very old school song, traditional in the church, and we've kind of jazzed it up a little bit and made it very appealing to the modern day crowd.
And like the song we're going to hear today, Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child.
Yes,
How does
ma'am.
that fit into the storyline at that point in the scene we're going to see?
At that point, being that some of these kids, first of all, they're away from home. Some of them are dealing with issues. For instance, one of the characters are dealing with the issues as far as kind of strained relationship with the mother, you know, especially dealing with him being gay, whatever the case may be. And sometimes you get that feeling that you are alone. And you are a long way from home, not physically, but even in the heart and mentally. You're a long way from home. So when you get feeling that song, you know, it starts out a good slow way so you can kind of feel the words going on it, and then we'll pick it up a little bit. So, yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that. Anthony and Philip, thank you so much for coming to see us today.
Thank you so much.
And for bringing the choir. We're going to hear them in just a moment. Choir Boy opens on Thursday, February 23rd and runs through March 17th. There's a special low-priced preview coming up on Wednesday, February 22nd. There will be talkbacks, as we mentioned, following the productions on March 5th and 12th. The shows are at Richmond Triangle Players Theater at 1300 Altamont Avenue in Scott's Addition. We'll put a link to more information at WTVR.com/VTM. And just ahead, a scene and musical performance from Choir Boy.